Hello, happy Wednesday for all you good folks out there. Well, some of you will catch this on Thursday, but hey, happy Thursday as well. It's Twanna Carter, and I am back for another Wednesday live. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back and a big, big hand clap. I have social anxiety. Some of you may or may not know. So, committing to do something live was like really difficult for me to do. I have a business coach who really encouraged me. So I have been live every Wednesday minus one. And I thought I was having dental work done and they canceled on me at the last minute. But I've been live every Wednesday since about the middle of November. And so if you count it as what, 6 months or so? Yes, I'm doing it. And I'll let you know already. I'm going to miss the first Wednesday of June because I will be in Hawaii on vacation. So I think I'm allowed to miss that one, right? For those of you who are just meeting me for the first time, my name is Dr. Twanna Carter, and I am a career transition coach for professional women, and I help professional women overcome that anxiety and doubt that can come with transitioning into a new career. And I do that by helping them to recognize and communicate their unique value and by instilling a deep sense of belief in their own strengths and abilities so they can confidently and courageously create success on their own terms and pursue a path of purpose that is meaningful to them, whether that is that promotion or whether it is that leap into entrepreneurship. I do both because we get to choose what career path makes us happy, right? Yes, and so if you're tuning in that today I'm going to be talking about why do people stay so long in the same job? They stay way too long and they start to develop that, oh my God, I don't know if I can leave. So, yes, that is what we're going to be talking about today. If you can hear me live, I'm going to go across everybody. For those of you who are on LinkedIn, welcome to you. And for those of you who see this on Facebook, welcome to you. For those of you who see this on YouTube, welcome. And if you're seeing this on Twitter, you too are welcome. And thank you for being here. If you can hear me, drop a one in the comments and I'm going to peruse around just to be sure that my feed is okay. I've had a little bit of trouble with my webcam. I think I just need to get a new one. It's blinking off on me. So if my screen goes black, hang in there. I'm gonna switch over to the camera on my Mac and we will keep going, right? And I see that I am indeed live on LinkedIn. Welcome. Let me know where you're hopping on from, everybody. Let me know the city or state or country where you're hopping on from. I'm going to do a little peruse across Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you need to be in my group, Courage to Transition Your Career, because that is where I'm coming on live from. And YouTube, you are good to go as well. Perfect. So, yes, today I'm talking about why do people seem to stay in jobs way too long, even when they hate the job they're doing. And I get a lot of clients that come in as much as 15 years in a job they didn't like, hate it, didn't want to go to every morning. So we're going to talk about why. Okay. So the thing is, this is as human beings, a lot of us have the fear of change, whether it's changing bedroom colors, whether it's changing your car, getting that new car, whether it's changing something like, I don't know, say a new job. There is this fear of change, and changing careers is no different. There is a fear of change. And some of the common fears that keep people stuck in jobs too long is that fear of the unknown, right? And it may sound something like someone say, hey, oh, you're still at the job, you really don't like it, so when are you going to be ready to leave? Oh, I don't know. I'm not ready to leave just yet. That's just the go-to response for what exactly that means is the question is ask yourself, what worries me about changing from this job that I don't like to go to? Some of you, the job is okay, but the people around you are just like really trifling. Like, what scares you or what worries you? Those are the questions you got to ask yourself Just take that moment and think about what your hesitation here is. What's that fear related to, right? Oftentimes it is the fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to come next, and then two steps beyond that, and three steps beyond that. That just creates fear, and we're like, maybe I stay right here where I am because I don't know what's going to happen. Anybody out there have that fear? I'm going to look over at my comments. Yay, got Montgomery, Alabama on. I'm actually in Helena today. I've been here for about a month and a half, almost 2 months. And so we're only about, what, hour and some change away. Thank you, Dominique. So Dominique says she can actually hear me. Great, Dominique, where are you hopping on from, if you don't mind sharing? Wonderful, wonderful. So, and I have a Facebook user. I'm gonna pop over to my Facebook group. Hey, hey, yes, Ashley. Ashley is my bookkeeper, y'all. She is getting me just hooked up. Her and Jennifer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My tax preparer is going to be so happy. Oh my gosh, she's gonna probably like fall down and kiss my feet. She's gonna be so happy with me. I know I want to drive all the way to Montgomery and hug on you guys and love you. Thank you so much. And then while I'm in Montgomery, I can go to Davis Restaurant too. That sounds like a plan. I haven't been to Davis's restaurant since I've been here. If you're in Montgomery, ever in Montgomery, Alabama, you have to go to Davis Restaurant. It's just got some of the best soul food in Montgomery. I promise you, you will not be disappointed, right? So I'm gonna get back on topic here because I got lost in food and I kind of got all excited. The next fear that can make people stay in a job too long is the fear of making a mistake. What if I get this new job, it doesn't work out, and I made a mistake and I should have stayed where I was? That is a huge mistake. When people come to see me, that's a huge thing. Yes, I need to go. I know I need to go, but I'm afraid of making that mistake. I'm afraid that this is going down the wrong path and it's not going to get me to where I want to be. And sometimes people are like that because they made two or three job transitions and it's just not what they wanted. And they're like, I might as well stay here because the next one may be worse. But it's that fear of making a mistake that can keep people too long in the same job. The next fear is the fear of I won't be able to deal with that new challenge, whether it's a position with more responsibility, or maybe it's moving from the job is on one side of town, the new job will be on the other side of town. Maybe that job is in a whole nother city, state, or maybe even country. Right? It's based upon maybe this is something I can't do. I've never done this before. So maybe I won't make it. Maybe I don't cut the grade. Maybe I just stay right here. And sometimes we feel that way, especially when it comes to promotions or you're doing a 180-degree switch. You kind of feel like you're out of your area of expertise. It's like, nah, I think I may stay right here. And sometimes it's because you don't go for a promotion in your current organization because that relationship hinges on, right? Your success hinges on getting along with, your supervisor, maybe your equal now. You don't know if you two of you are going to get along. And sometimes if you're like me and you have social anxiety, you're intimidated by people in authority. Like, I got to be one-on-one with these people, talk to them, report to them, tell them things to do. And so, that's one of the things one of the ways that social anxiety will hold you back, right? Dominique says Boston. And so Ashley says, our pleasure. We would love to host you. Davis Cafe is actually the best, hands down. I told you, yes, Ashley said it. You heard it from the horse's mouth. Ashley lives in Montgomery. She knows. I'm telling you, she knows. Yes. Oh, Dominique, the seafood. I fell in love with Massachusetts seafood. Don't tell the people down south I said that, though. But I've had my share of Gulf Coast seafood since I've been here, from Mississippi to Alabama, and I will be eating some more until I go back to Massachusetts, right? Yes, I like to do food tourism. What can I say? The next fear is the fear of failure. Woo, maybe it's been, I met someone who said it's been about 21 years since they applied for another job. Some fear of failure, probably? Yeah, probably so. Or maybe it's just been 20 years since you interviewed for a job, right? And you just don't feel confident in that you know how to do. A lot of folks, the last time they applied for a job, they submitted a paper application and then they appeared in person to interview. Well, a lot of interviews are now virtual, and people are like, I don't feel comfortable with that, right? And some of you, you got to interview out of your home, and you've got little ones that are up and around. It's like, how can I get on camera to interview when I'm still trying to caretake at the same time? There's somebody here to keep the kids for me while I'm trying to interview. Those things can be very intimidating, right? And sometimes just the fact of thinking about all the things you got to do to make it happen makes you feel extremely overwhelmed. In which case, that fear of failure, and you just sit right where you are. Talk about analysis paralysis, that can really happen. You analyze every single thing that could go wrong, and you get overwhelmed with so many details that you just kind of sit there. You just sit right where you are. Want to check my comments over here. All righty. Think we are good. Any comments out there? How many of you have experienced some of these fears that I've already listed? The fear of failure, the fear of not being able to deal with a new challenge, the fear of making a mistake, that stepping out may be the wrong thing for you, or just the fear of the unknown. I don't know how I'm going to do in a new position, or I can't predict the next step. Anybody experience any of those fears when they've looked at, trying to transition, end up staying in a job just a tad bit too long? So you heard me say I've helped folks transition when they've been in the job for 15 years, right? It can be done. I've helped folks who've been in that same job for 10 years, afraid to make that leap to the next step. And I give you a wonderful example. Had a client who was downsized as a result of the downturn in 2008 or ish or so, right? Got a bridge job, because sometimes you got to do those bridge jobs to pay the bills. You just got to do what you got to do, and was out of her career industry for almost 10 years. And she was just like, how do I go back? I mean, everybody that stayed has moved on. They're VP this, they're VP that, they're director this. And here I am coming back, starting over. I don't know if I'm going to make that. And there was a lot of fear of failure. They're still there. I've been out for over 10 years. How is this going to work? And the fact that this person had never interviewed virtually. It's like, I work in person. I don't I don't interview online. I don't even do virtually. I don't even do Zoom meetings. And so I was like, look, you and I are meeting on Zoom. You do Zoom meetings. You'll be okay. Literally, I went in from teaching her how to use Zoom, sharing my screen and pointing out all the different things you can do on Zoom, to helping her get prepared for her interviews, nailing those interview questions, doing mock interviews. And she called me one week. She had 3 interviews. She's like, oh my God, I have 3 interviews. What am I going to do? It's like, let's meet. Come on, let's meet. Walked her through how to answer the questions and everything. And I got to tell you, she got the job. And not only the first one she interviewed for is between her and 2 people. She didn't get the job. They chose someone else. He had a specialty that she didn't have. But I got to tell you, about 2 weeks later, they called her back and they offered her another position, of the which she took, and it was a better position suited for her. So it doesn't matter if you've been in the same job 10, 15, 20 years, you can transition. You can get across all of these fears and actually transition to the job that fits you, right? And so the next fear we talked about is the fear of not being able to do the work. Maybe I've been out of like my client, I've been out of the career field for so long. Can I still do the work, right? And especially if you're like me, I've done 11 career transitions. One of those I've done twice, so we backed that down to 10. And then the first one I bombed, so we don't talk about that one. No, I'm just kidding. So I've made 8 career transitions, and they have been different, totally 180-degree turnaround. And there's a lot of fear of, can I make this career switch? And can I do the work? Can I get it done? Yeah, you actually can, but that's a fear that will keep people stuck in the same job year after year, decade after decade, afraid of not being able to do the work. Right? So I want to be sure. Let's see, I see another comment down here. So Tamara says, most definitely, leaping is intimidating. Absolutely. That first leap is, if you think about it, though, I'm not a huge roller coaster person. I've done more roller coasters with my kids because I wasn't going to let them on by themselves. But it's like, and it ticks up, and tick, 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 and their fear kind of builds. And then that first leap is like scary out of this world. But after that, you start to maneuver and you get the hang of it. Career transitioning is the same way. You get the hang of it. You really do get the hang of it, right? And then another big fear that this one keeps a lot of people stuck. They fear that if they make a change, they'll be way worse off than they are right now. Why bother? What if I'm worse off? What if I lose salary? What if I'm paid less? Because a lot of people think when you do a career transition, you're going to be paid less. Only if you accept the job making less. It's your choice. If you go in and you looked at the salary and you get there and it's like, oh yeah, we're not offering this, that 115,000 is actually 90 and we'll work your way up to, you don't have to take that. You don't. I mean, you go, oh, okay, thanks for the interview, right? But a lot of folks fear losing their health care and their in retirement. That's a big piece of it, right? And a lot of people fear losing their status, what they already have. People know me. I'm at this position, and if I go start over, I got to start over at the bottom. And some folks just feel like I'm respected where I am, and I don't want to have to rebuild that respect. So Dominique says, fear of making a mistake for sure, and if I can do the work. Absolutely. Because some folks feel, there's new software, and it took me a minute to get this software. I don't know if I can get new software and in time enough to learn how to do the job and do it well and make sure that I can perform. That can be pretty scary. It can be absolutely scary. And that's why I have a VIP career confident program so that I go with you from the time you look for the job, you get the job, and I'm there going through you, I'm there coaching you through the first 1 or 2 or so months of you being on the new job. Because everybody talks about career transition, but it's not just about getting the job, it is about getting the coaching that you need for that first 90 days or so. Because you really do have about 90 days to make your best impression and put your best foot forward. So actually, I've created a program that meets that because it meets this. I don't know what if what if I just fear, what if I don't quite get it on time. You got me there to help you all the way through, right? And then some folks again, they don't want to give up of what they already have. Like I don't want to lose anything I already got, right? And then some folks kind of feel like I don't have anywhere else to go. I've been here for 15 years. Where am I going to go, right? And this can happen in toxic work environments. I don't have anywhere to go. People feel trapped. Oftentimes your self worth is tied up in the job status, so you really don't want to go anywhere. And of course, we talked about making less money or being unable to find another job. And so people fear rejection. I don't want to be rejected and let everybody know I'm looking for a job and then I can't find one. And then some folks just feel like I was so lucky to get this job. I don't think I can get better than what I got now. And this too is common in toxic work environments. Because in toxic work environments, whether you know it or not, it's a little bit of brainwashing, right? You better be glad you have this job. No one else is going to pay you what I'm paying you. I'll give you a bad references if you leave. I've had clients been told that. I've had clients who the boss like, I'm not accepting your resignation. No, you can't go anywhere. I'm just not going to accept it. You cannot go anywhere. And so when you're in toxic work environments, the longer you stay, the more your confidence just begins to drop. Your self efficacy, your belief in the ability that you can perform work, that you can do it well, drops. Your self esteem drops, right? So I'm going to talk about the steps to leave a toxic work environment. That's my topic next Wednesday. So you don't want to miss next Wednesday because I'll be going over some steps of what you can do with that, right? And so these are really the main fears, the reasons why people stay in a job way too long, right? Way, way, way too long. And then there's also, look, I need a paycheck. I don't have a choice. I just need a paycheck. And I'm scared. I'm scared that I lucked up on this job. There's too much fear. What if I mess up and I want to come back and I can't come back because they have already told me you leave here, I'm not giving you a reference and you can't come back, right? We talked about for a lot of people, their job is an anchor to their self identity. Where if they feel they lose this job, they lose their self identity because that's all they have. Some folks are in domestic violence situations at home, and the only identity they have that is positive for them is tied up in the job. Some folks have spent a lot of money and a lot of time invested to get the education to be able to do what they do. And it's scary to walk away from all that and start another job doing something else, right? And then for other folks, it's not even a fear. It's just the job is comfortable. It's easy. I know everything is going to happen. Every day I get up, I know when it's going to happen, what time of the month it's going to happen. This, I know it. It is just comfortable and it's familiar. And so for some folks, it's hard to make that leap to something else when they're very, very comfortable where they are. Comfortable and familiar. Unhappy, but comfortable and familiar. It happens, right? It really does, right? And then for a lot of folks, it's like, I've been doing the same thing for all these years. Better the devil I know than the one I don't. I know it's routine. I know it's boring. I know I'm unhappy. I'm very unhappy. But better the devil I know than the one I don't, because what if the next boss is worse than what I got? It's easy to stay stuck in a career well beyond what you need to say. Well, what is well beyond what you need to, right? Depending on your industry, right? So tech has the shortest tenure, job tenure. When we say job tenure, we're not talking tenure like college professionals tenure, anything like that, or federal government workers are tenured after 3 years. So we're not talking about their tenure. We're just talking about the length of time that they stayed on the job. Tech is very short. Tech folks stay on the job. You guys stay on the job, average a little less than 2 years, 1.8, 1.9, 1 point, something like this. So it's actually less than 2 years. Tech people are jumping. Tech is a great industry, lots of openings. So it makes sense that they will jump a bit more often than anyone else because there's so many positions open. And a number of things happen between now and the last administration with the visas and stuff. So we can't, folks who are overseas, they're not pouring in like they used to. So there's opportunities in tech, right? The folks with the longest tenure, which makes sense, are public service workers. Federal government, states, county, local governments. They have the longest tenure in jobs. And there's like about 5 years or so. So it depends on your industry as what too long is. And so the thing is this: when you talk job tenure, it is about how the employer is going to look at you when you're ready to make your move, right? That's the thing. How does a new company view you if you're ready to make a job? I mean, make a leap. I was trying to check my messages over here, right? That's the concern. So when we talk about what's too long in the job, understanding tech is a little different. Because again, they're less than two, and most of the time you hear people say, "Hey, you want to give the job 1 to 3 years before you make the next move." And some folks are now putting in job descriptions. Yeah, if you've had that job less than 3 years, yeah, you need not apply because we're not going to go through all this interview process, hiring you, training you, and then you leave in less time, right? So you can run across that. And so if you've stayed in a job 5 years, 10 years, 15, you may be perceived as being less driven and less proactive than other candidates who have that 3 to 5 year leap between jobs, the 3 to 5 year wait before leaping to other jobs, right? They may look at you as stuck and inflexible, like, we bring you on board, you're gonna have difficulty with meeting new challenges or new and changing company policies. These are just some of the ways that hiring managers can look at you. And there's also a fear that because you may be inflexible, that you may disrupt the unit or division because you're not going to want to change and do things a new way. It is not every company out there, of course, but some of you, if you stay in a job that long, that's how you're looked at. And obviously, on the flip side of that, if you've got like the last 5 jobs and you've only spent 7 months here, 12 months there, 18 months there, 13 months there, they're going to look at you as a job hopper. And some companies will not touch you with a 10-foot pole. Some will, because what do we say? Tech is an average less than 2 years. So you probably will get a tech job faster than you would other jobs, certainly for public service. So Tamara says, for me, part of staying too long past my toxic intake level is one, because it's admitting that I failed somehow. Yes, that is so true. That is so true. Thank you, Tamara. In the current position, or two, I don't want to leave my coworkers' company in a lurch, bad spot. Yes. I give way more than I receive and had to learn boundaries and employee. Yes, I had a candidate that this was her. This was so much of her. She stayed in a job 50 years that she didn't want because her company is like, oh, but we really need you. Oh, don't let us down. Oh, but you're so great at this, yada, yada, yada. So 15 years she stayed in that job that she didn't like. And when she came to me, she was literally opening up the job boards and just applying for everything that moved and was kind of discouraged because she wasn't getting hits like she wanted. And I was like, yeah, but let's look at your transferable skills. The jobs you're applying for don't match. And so they're not going to choose you because it doesn't match. Let's sit down and look at what do you want to do. She was like, I love tech. I'm in tech. I love it, but I want to do people. I want to have my tech and I want to have that social interaction too. We have, she interviewed, we sat down, we did everything, got her all square, looked at her work values, looked at her transferable skills. She understood what her value was. So when she walked in the interview, her confidence level was way up here. She landed a job for the first time in 15 years that she wanted. She didn't feel like, we had to work on that feeling like you're abandoning your coworkers because some people do. Now, I did have a client in New York that was her fear of abandoning her team, her direct reports. And so, we worked with her, got that confidence level up, and she decided to go ahead and resign the job and, and apply for something else. Her direct reports came. One of them took a job, accepted a job making $50,000 more, and the other one accepted a job making $16,000 more. They were afraid to leave her. She was afraid to leave them. But that's the thing about when you take a leap, you give other people their wings. Because sometimes people do want to stay with you and be sure you're okay. But when you take that leap, you give people their wings. And she actually gave those two workers their wings. So definitely boundaries, and that is definitely things that I work on. I certainly had to work on with that client because that was the one her boss was like, I'm not accepting your resignation. No, you don't even know what you want. So no, I'm not taking it. So had to do a lot of boundaries work, a lot of self-esteem, a lot of confidence, and a lot of mindset shifting to get her to the point she was like, I'm resigning, take it or not, I'm out. A lot of time to get her there, but she actually did make it. Wonderful, wonderful comments, Tara, because you nailed it. You nailed it. I'm gonna have to add this one. Yeah, and because we do feel like we're some of us are very committed when we work, so we feel like I've somehow failed. But the thing is you gotta grow. You know, it's okay to stay with the same company as long as you're growing, you're getting promoted, and you're also picking up and learning new skills. But if you're not getting promoted, you topped out pay wise, you topped out grade wise, and you're not learning anything else new, you're really hurting yourself by staying. At that point, every month that you stay beyond that, you're really hurting yourself, hurting how people look at you. So Tara says, I like that. Very true about giving other wings of courage. You do, Tara. It was amazing. She was so shocked because less than I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks, both of her direct reports is like they left. They had jobs. So that meant they've been interviewing probably all along, but they were afraid to leave her. She was afraid to leave them. So it worked out and all three of them got what they needed, right? It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. All right. So here's what you can do. What are some things you can do if you know you have been? I like the way Tara put it. Look, I mean Tamara. Tamara said, past my toxic intake level. I love the way she put that. If some of you have stayed beyond your toxic intake level, what can you do to get motivated to start taking those first steps to move? Understand this, the more you know, and I stole this, this is not mine. You'll understand this when I say it. The more you know, the more you grow. You've heard that on the library or whatever it was, little kid thing. Yes, take a class, take a course, learn something new. When we learn something new, because can I help you?
Yes.
Who is that?
Roy.
Oh, when your dad comes all the way from Arizona doing your live, I gotta let him in, ladies and gentlemen. So give me a second. I won't lie. Yeah, no other reason when I get up and let somebody in, but my daddy just came from Arizona for my daughter's graduation. So, pardon my interruption. But our brains, we there are 8 basic human needs, and variety is one of those. So when we learn something new, it builds your confidence, it builds your self-efficacy, and it starts to shift your mindset, right? That's something new. We're creating you the motivation to do something else. If it's in your field, great. If it's not in your field, great. Doesn't even matter as long as you're learning something new, right? Also do something to get out of your comfort zone. You can travel. You can travel solo if you're always traveling with someone else. Travel to a place you haven't been before. Travel to somewhere you haven't been before, and then do something different in the city, right? Attend an event, all sorts of just something that moves you out of your comfort zone. Do something exciting, do something challenging. These are wonderful ways, and they're not that difficult for you to do something out of your comfort zone and get that going. So Tamara says, "LOL, I'm a fixer, so I want to fix things if they're fixable." Yes, that is so true, but you got to be careful because folks will use you for that. And I'm raising my hand, Tamara, because yeah, we have that in common. I used to have that. That was my thing. I will stay there, and people will use me, use me, use me, use me. They just would never pay me or give me a promotion. So you really do have to understand your value, and when you're doing these things, get compensated for it, because otherwise you're working for free. I actually had a supervisor that told me that. It's like, yeah, I was, doing the extra to earn my bonus. Well, consider yourself as having donated your time because I'm not paying you for that. Whew. Yeah, I love that job. So, hey, gotta go, gotta go. Number 3, network, network, network. Meet new people. You'll be surprised at at the people you meet. You never know who knows who, but network and make contact with your old network. Reach out and start that again. Provide them value so that when you need to ask them something, you don't feel bad. Like, oh, I haven't spoken to my network in 10 years. Start up now, right? You don't need to quit your job today and get one tomorrow, but you can definitely start now. So Tara says, yes, ma'am, agreed. Yes, gotta watch that the fixer because they don't want to pay you for it, right? Gotta be paid. Your time is valuable. You are valuable. You have self-worth, right? Another one is read articles and research in your field. Read articles and research in industries adjacent to you. So what do I mean by adjacent? So a lot of you know I'm a career transition coach and I'm also a licensed therapist. So as both of those, I love the brain. I love reading about the brain and how it works and all that. That's adjacent. Yes, it's in my field, kind of, sort of, in some things, but I do things adjacent to that. Always be learning something. Read the newest research, and you can get motivated for that. I know I do. I'm a lifelong learner. I love to learn new concepts and new things. It's an easy way to get motivated, right? Join online groups. You can join groups in your industry, join groups in industries you're interested in. Just join the online groups, and things are opening up now. So you can actually join groups in person, join organizations, right? I am a member of Alabama Counseling Association, Virginia Counseling Association, Maryland Counseling Association, International Coaching Federation. I'm a member of a lot of different organizations. They all give you research, right? And so Tamara says, same. Absolutely. They send you research so you don't have to go look for it. They'll send you articles and things that you can read to keep you motivated and keep you alert and aware of what's going on in the field. So when you're ready to look at it and do something else, you don't feel like a dinosaur. Because that's what happens when we stay in those positions too long. We feel like a dinosaur and we have no value. You do, but you just feel like you're a dinosaur, right? And then lastly, hire a career coach. That's what we're here for. We really are good at looking at your transferable skills and showing you what your value is and coaching you to see that value and how to package that value to move forward to the next job, right? And so I am at the end. Any questions or comments? Let me know if this was helpful for you, right? I put out a thing last week. I asked you guys to show me, tell me what you wanted me to do a live on. I didn't get anything. I came up with this one. Let me know if I came up with something that was useful to you, right? So again, You do not want to mix next week, because next week I'll be talking about steps for leaving a toxic work environment, because this is why some folks stay well beyond what they need to in a job, because they're in a toxic work environment and they feel, if I leave now, I'll be just as miserable. Or folks will often lose their confidence. Again, the longer you stay in a toxic work environment, the more apt you are to lose your confidence, right? So I'm going to drop a link here if you want to get some more resources. I have lots of tools and videos on toxic workplaces and worksheets and cheat sheets. I'm going to drop a link and you can go there and sign up for free. And that's my dad. He's live. I'm live and he's on the phone. Gotta love it, right? But I'm good. I'm done anyway. Again, I dropped that link to my free resources. You can sign up for free. There's tons of things out there to get you motivated, to help you get motivated to move to that next job. All right. So I will be back here next Wednesday, same bad time, same bad place. Thanks everybody for joining me. Have a great rest of your evening or a great rest of your day if you're in Australia, for instance, because it's already Thursday there. Take care.